This is IGN. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a smash hit at the box office. Welcome to your IGN Daily Update. But first, Fortnite is thawing out the Infinity Blade, arguably the game's most controversial weapon ever, for an appearance in the next season of its OG Battle Royale mode. Beginning this Thursday, December 11th, Fortnite OG will shift to Chapter 1 Season 7 and let players experience the game's beloved retro season where all the snow turned up and we got to fly around in planes. It was a brilliant season, though one that will go down in Fortnite history as one of the most divisive, as Epic Games also introduced the mythic quality Infinity Sword that was notoriously overpowered. Only one Infinity Blade spawned each match, and lobbies turned into an absolute mess over who nabbed the game-breaking item first. Epic Games has not said when it intends to unvault the Infinity Blade or for how long. It's possible the weapon will be offered at full strength for a brief period, or it could have been rebalanced. For now, players have been left to speculate. And Daniel Kaluuya recently teased his upcoming Spider-Punk animated feature, revealing where he and co-writer Ajahn Singh are in their development alongside Sony Pictures. The actor confirmed he and Singh are in the finishing stages of a first draft of the script for the project in a recent interview with Deadline, and explained, "We're in our process." That said, Kaluuya was tight-lipped when it came to plot details, with his only response about whether the film would be a standalone project or if other characters from the Spider-Verse would appear being TBD. Kaluuya, who garnered an Oscar nomination for his role in Get Out, also revealed that the intense response to his character Spider-Punk in the 2023 film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse laid the groundwork for this project. "It's exciting to be writing something in this space," he said in the interview. Spider-Punk first appeared in Marvel Comics in 2015 as a homeless teenager who becomes a hero to the citizens of New York in his own universe, sporting the same powers as Peter Parker, but with a deep affinity for punk rock. This grungy Spider-Man is the leader of an underground resistance against Norman Osborn's authoritarian rule, and he's not completely sold on the idea of the Spider Society. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has secured a box office win despite a critical mauling. In 2023, Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's, which adapts the hugely popular video game series by Scott Cawthon, became the highest-grossing horror film of the year. Now, 2 years later, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has earned a huge $109 million at the global box office during launch weekend. While that isn't as big as Five Nights at Freddy's $160 million box office debut, it's enough to take the number one spot at the domestic box office with an impressive $63 million haul. The box office success comes amid one of the biggest Rotten Tomatoes critic audience score divides ever. On the review score aggregator, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has just 12% on the tomato meter from 84 reviews from critics, whereas it has 88% on the popcorn meter, which tracks user review sentiment. IGN's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 review returned a 3 out of 10. We said, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 gives sequels, video game adaptations, and gateway horror movies a bad name. But Universal Pictures said it expects continued box office momentum for the film, fueled by strong social media buzz and word of mouth. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 secured a number of domestic box office records, including becoming the second largest horror opening of 2025, behind only The Conjuring Last Rites. With this debut, Blumhouse Atomic Monster now holds 4 of the top 10 biggest horror openings of the year: The Conjuring Last Rites, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Black Phone 2, and The Monkey. Domestically, it's also the highest opening weekend for a PG-13 horror film in 2025, surpassing Predator: Badlands, and it had a record-breaking post-Thanksgiving opening, now the highest ever at the domestic box office, ahead of The Last Samurai. And finally, it's the biggest December horror opening domestically, topping Scream 2. Scream star Matthew Lillard, who plays William Afton, has already spoken about his hope that Five Nights at Freddy's 3 gets made, and with this box office success, it now seems likely. Our hope is that we get to do 3 films. That's always been the plan. Everything is dependent on how the movie does in theaters, Lillard said. Lillard was recently in the headlines for responding to an insult from Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill director Quentin Tarantino, saying it f***ing sucks. With Five Nights at Freddy's 2 out the door, he's set to reprise his role as Stuart Stu Macher in Scream 7 and will play a villain in MCU Disney Plus show Daredevil Born Again Season 2. That's your IGN Daily Update. My name is Tony Jackson, and if you want more news on your favorite games and entertainment topics, make sure to visit us at IGN.com. You can also download our free app on your phone or console and subscribe to our weekly podcasts through the podcast service of your choice.
Spoken Layer.